So a few months ago, it was in the news that some students in Canada, these were international students, about 700 of them, and these people apparently went to Canada with a Canadian student visa. They studied in Canadian universities, and then after their program, they, got work permits. And when it was finally time for them to apply for their permanent residency in Canada, it was discovered that apparently the admission letter or the acceptance letter that they used to apply for their Canadian student visas to go into Canada was fake. And these are students that went to Canada, some 2017, some 2018, and then there were a few students as well who were later discovered who were still in Canadian university studying, and apparently it was discovered that their admission letters that they brought into Canada was fake. Some of these Indian students were facing deportation. It was really bad, and some of the schools also forgave some of these students and then were able to continue with their education, but majority of them were under serious investigations and facing deportation. And about 700 people, that's a lot of people. So when they did a bit more investigation into the whole case, they realized that most of these students that were involved in this scandal, this fake admission letter scandal, came with a popular travel agent guy. And further investigations also proved that some of them, they were actually very aware that the admission letter they were submitting were fake. Others were clueless, they had no idea. So later on, this Indian immigration agent allegedly was behind preparing the fraudulent document for international students, and he has been arrested and charged by the Canadian authorities. And this led to so many different changes in the Canadian immigration for students and the whole Canada student visa process. And even Australia in April, for universities in Australia banned the enrollment of students from specific Indian states such as Punjab, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Punjab and Haryana, due to fraudulent applications, because it was usually very common with people from these Indian states. And a month later, 2 more universities in the country took a similar step. So now it's like 6 universities in Australia have banned applications from particular states in India. And this has also led to a few changes in the whole Canadian student visa application process, and that's what I'll be sharing today. So if you're interested, stay tuned. So because of all these things I mentioned earlier, the Canadian Immigration Minister, Mr. Miller, has announced new rules to protect international students from fraud. Because like I said, some of the students were obviously aware that they were doing it fraudulently, but others were clueless, they were victims. So now they put a few measures in place to protect international students. And one is the Recognized Institution Framework. Another is extra check with the acceptance letter. Miller says that starting December 1st, that's next month, schools that are accepting international students will have to confirm each applicant acceptance letter with immigration authorities. So now there's going to be extra checks. So extra checks could also mean that admissions can delay, right? However, he also mentioned that there's going to be something called Recognized Institution Framework. So what this means is that colleges or universities with a positive record of vetting and supporting international students may be eligible for fast-track student permits or fast-track study permits. For very popular universities that are, they have a very positive record of vetting and supporting international students, for those ones, if it is any of those universities that you are going to, you still get lucky for your document to be processed a bit faster. So it says, let me read it again. Recognized Institution Framework, through which colleges and universities with a positive record of vetting and supporting international students may be eligible for fast-track study permits. But if your university you're attending is not considered one of these recognized institutions with positive records, you would still go through all the extra checks, blah blah blah, without any fast-track permits. And he also added that they put in place upcoming reforms to the postgraduate work permits program, saying it will be adapted to better meet Canada's labor market needs, but stopped short of confirming any changes, calling it a work in progress. They also said that he acknowledged that they are going to put in additional measures to tackle the fraud and support international students. So again, there's also a dedicated governmental workforce that is looking into 285 admission letters. So far, they have reviewed only about 103 of those admission letters and found that 63 of those were genuine students and 40 were not. So 30 of the genuine students have been issued temporary residence visas, and the remaining cases are still being investigated. So from December 2023, an enhanced system for study permit processing will be introduced, through which Canada's Immigration Department will directly verify admission letters with institutions. So as part of the documents that you're submitting, you cannot just submit like before where they were not doing any serious checks, then you can sneak into their country, with fake admission letters. Now they would go through enhanced verification checks, cross-check with the institution that you're claiming that you're coming to study in to see if it is genuine and you've actually gained admission into those schools, and further checks later on also will be introduced. This is just making the whole thing a bit more stressful and a bit more difficult, if not for, you know, this alleged fraudster who scammed over 700 Indian students. And the thing is, if you are deported from a country based on these fraudulent issues, it affects your ability to get a visa to other countries, because you'll be tagged as if you're a fraudster, you know, you've used fraudulent means to enter a country, and it's very, very bad on your record. So my advice is that you should take your time when you're using some of these agencies. Sometimes when you go to the university's website, they have actually mentioned some, let's say, non-profit organizations or associations or whatever that assist people or assist students in their school admission process that you can actually use. It's actually on the school's website, okay? But some of these private travel agents or agencies, if you are not so sure, if you have not done your research to see that they're genuine, it's probably you avoid them altogether, because they are going to do you more harm than good. These are students that entered in 2017, 2018. That's 5 years ago, and now they are due to apply for their Canada residence permits, and all these things have popped up. Some have already been deported. This will be on a record, and it's very, very bad, okay? If you don't take care, you can also be banned from entering Canada or any other country for a couple of years, and that would be very detrimental to you, okay? So I would say that before, especially the students, see, most of these things, you don't actually even need a travel agent. The rules are just there. Watch YouTube videos. If you want to go to Canada, I recommend Joyce Kaynes Canada's videos on YouTube. She has so much information, guys. Sometimes you don't even need a travel agent. All you need is to go to the websites of these schools that you're applying through, and then do your research and see how you can apply, or speak to people that have gone through the process. Watch Joyce Kaynes Canada's videos, or watch the new YouTubers who are also saying the right thing, and then follow suit. Some of these travel agents, they only care about their pockets, and then they'll put you in a bigger mess in the future. So be very, very careful. But if you are facing any delays in your Canada or your Canada student visa processing, this could probably be one of the reasons, because now there are so many enhanced checks or frameworks that are in place, and probably your school is not one of the recognized institutions that would, you know, benefit from this fast track processing. So probably that's why you're facing a delay. So this is all this video is about. If you learned anything, or if you have any further comments, kindly drop it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.